Since the announcement of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, fans have been speculating about what kind of Spider-Mans will appear this time. The first part featured a pig in a Spider-Man costume called Spider-Ham, or a noir Spider-Man dubbed by Nicolas Cage. For the second part, the Japanese Spider-Man, which comes from a Japanese Spider-Man TV series from the 70s, is at the top of the fans' wish list. Producer Phil Lord suggested a deal to the fans on Twitter. If Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in the USA earned more than $200 million, the Japanese Spider-Man will be in the sequel. Unfortunately, in the end, it was only enough for $190 million at the box office in the USA. But instead of insisting that the agreed limit of $200 million has not been cracked, Phil Lord recently replied on Twitter that the Japanese Spider-Man had already been designed. But what is the story of the Japanese Spider-Man and why is he so popular? Originally, he comes from a Japanese 70s Spider-Man series. For this, there were special licenses for the Japanese production company Toei, who created a rather lean story around the superhero. The only thing the protagonist had in common with the Spider-Man we know was the name and the Red Spider costume. The story revolved around the professional motorcyclist Takuya Yamashiro, who together with his father, who coincidentally is a space archaeologist, discovers a crashed UFO. In this UFO they discover the last survivor of the planet Spider, who gives Takuya a bracelet that turns him into Spider-Man and enables him to control his own giant robot. Of course, we sincerely hope to see this giant robot in the upcoming Spider-Man A New Universe 2. Spider-Man A New Universe 2 will be released in the USA on April 8, 2022. The public outcry was huge when Paramount first unveiled Sonic's design for the upcoming film. After a lot of negative feedback, the studio decided to revise Sonic and his character and postpone the release date. The appearance of the Hedgehog has not yet been officially revealed, but there are currently pictures in social media showing the redesigned Sonic. Of course, you can't tell if the pictures are real, but the opinion of the fan community about the revision is positive. Paramount didn't want to comment on the status on Saturday either, but we're sure that we'll hear more from Sonic soon, because there's not much time left until the release date on February 14, 2020. After the reports last week about the possible release of Ant-Man 3, it is now officially confirmed that the third part will be coming. Director Peyton Reed, who already staged the two predecessors, will also shoot the third part with Paul Rudd. Hollywood star Michael Douglas, who confirmed in an interview with Collider that he will return to his role of Dr. Pym in the upcoming film, will also be there. This raises the question whether Hope Van Dyne, aka the Wasp, will also appear in the third part with Dr. Pym. The Wasp is played by Evangeline Lilly and already appeared in the second Ant-Man part and briefly in Avengers Endgame. Besides the return of the Wasp, there are also other speculations concerning the story. Rumour says that the Quantum Realm, known from the comics, will play a bigger role. Other fan theories also see it as the way for Fantastic Four in the MCU. However, since all these are still speculations and theories that have neither been confirmed nor denied by the official side, they should definitely be enjoyed with caution. According to Douglas, the shooting of Ant-Man 3 will start in spring 2021, which makes a release date in 2022 seem realistic. The next movies in the Marvel Universe are Black Widow and The Eternals 2020, followed by Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange 3 and Thor 3 in 2021. The upcoming Batman film by Matt Reeves is slowly but surely taking shape. A few months ago, Robert Pattinson, who is highly criticized by fans, was appointed the leading actor, followed by Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman and Paul Dano as Riddler. Also on board is Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. Rumor has it that there are currently two other equally top-class candidates under discussion. One is Colin Farrell. According to Deadline, the actor, who was last seen on the screen in Dumbo, is to be hired as the Penguin. With this, he would follow in the footsteps of Danny DeVito, who impersonated the villain in Batman's Return. On the side of the good guys, according to The Wrap, Andy Serkis is currently also in conversation as Butler Alfred. In contrast to Michael Caine, who played the Butler in the Dark Knight trilogy, Serkis, who is relatively young at 55, doesn't quite fit the role. There was also the rumor that Matthew McConaughey was supposed to be under discussion as Two-Face. However, this was called a hoax by several insiders, which is why it's still not clear who will take over the role of Two-Face. In any case, we are curious who will be hired until the shooting starts. The Batman will be released on 25th of June 2021. After a long period of uncertainty, fans of the Fantastic Beasts series can breathe a sigh of relief, as a release date for the third film has finally been set. Reason for the long unknown was the production, which was already postponed several times and caused great annoyance in the fan community. But this seems to have come to an end now, because the official start of production is planned for spring 2020. The filming location is Brazil, respectively Rio de Janeiro, after the first part played in New York City and the second part in Paris. The director will be David Yates, who not only filmed the two predecessors, but also, for example, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. J.K. Rowling and Steve Kloves are in charge of the script. The cast hasn't changed too much, because Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander, Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore, Ezra Miller as Aurelius Dumbledore, and many more will be part of the cast again. As Rowling announced on Twitter, Professor Lally Hicks, impersonated by Jessica Williams, will also play a bigger role than before. The planned release date for the US cinemas is November 12, 2021. The 2018 remake of the horror classic Halloween was a huge success not only at the box office, but also in the minds of many fans. Since then, there has been a persistent rumor that the Nightmare on Elm Street series will be re-released as the next big horror classic in Hollywood. Among others, horror producer Jason Blum, who also produced the Halloween remake with his company, is supposed to be interested. As the magazine Coming Soon reports, however, he will now face strong competition from none other than Lord of the Rings protagonist Elijah Wood and his producer colleague Daniel Noah. They said that they not only have big but also concrete plans how they want to realize the new film series around Freddy Krueger. Of course, they didn't give more details, but they said that they want to lead the series into a new direction and surprise the audience. In the past, they managed to do that with their company Spectrovision in numerous movies, especially in the movie Mandy with Nicolas Cage in the leading role, which many call a horror masterpiece. Of course, it's not yet clear if the two will eventually get the rights for the remake, but it would undoubtedly be an interesting project.